Gibson. I am a travel advisor. I started my first travel experience was when I was probably 7, and we went to Disney World. No, Disneyland. I'm sorry, Disneyland, because I'm old. So Disneyland, and it was wonderful, and I got the travel bug then, and my parents took me all over, and I've been traveling ever since. But when I retired from the school system, I said, well, what should I do? And I said, I don't knit well, and I don't crochet. I do water aerobics, but I really like to travel. And I really want to take other people who haven't traveled somewhere, or people who do travel, experience different places. So that's why I decided to become a travel agent. I am always doing trainings. I should have trained on how to save my presentation, so I do need to apologize. There was 20 slides that my grandson and I put together. They were beautiful. You don't have any of that. So we are going to do this old school style, and hopefully all of my things that I learned as a teacher kick in, because this has happened things happen. Yeah. So we are going to go on. But today's presentation is on river cruising. How many people have ever river cruised? I know this young lady here has. Anybody else?
No.
Okay. Well, river cruising is so much different than ocean cruising. Mm-hmm. Okay. The first thing is, an ocean cruise is humongous. Okay. There are many, many, many people. Now, you can have ocean cruises that are smaller yachts or big things. I just came back from the Wonder of the Seas from Royal Caribbean, where there was over 2,600 people, as in passengers, which meant that double that's almost 6,000 people. And then there's 2,300 crew. So there's a lot of people on that ship. Mm-hmm. So it's a big ship. It's got 16 stories, 20 restaurants, so many children were on the ship. Mm. But that's okay. They get to cruise too. But it was huge. And I kept thinking, I wonder, what's the biggest difference? Well, there are many. On a river cruise, it is small and intimate. It can be 100 to up to maybe 300 passengers on that ship. But there can be between 150 and 200 crew. So your staff to passenger ratio is way up there. You are not, it's intimate. There are maybe 3 or 4 decks. Many of the cruise lines have floor to ceiling windows where you're if you see the commercials, you're facing out into the rivers and byways. It's just smaller. Where a cruise ship, the cabin size, of course that's on the bottom of my notes, the cabin size is anywhere between, I think, 170 up to 320 square feet, where you're on a river cruise, it's much smaller. It's like 150 up to maybe 220 if you have a suite. But as I said, most of the rooms are facing outward, so you always have a view. It's not like, it's similar to in Alaska, if you have a balcony, which is the only way to do Alaska, by the way, in case you ever think to do it, you'll see everything as it goes by. But the level of service on a river cruise, yes, on all cruises, the staff's job is to make the clients happy. However, if you're preparing meals for 7,000 people, 6,000 people or so, the meals are going to be good. But if you're preparing meals for 150 people, the meals are going to be delicious. Now, on cruise ships, you have buffets forever. They go on and on and on. a windjammer room, or whatever that are, and then on Norwegian they have little small different things that you can go around and get buffets, and on Princess they have huge buffets on the Lido deck. You have a buffet on a river cruise, but that's usually for breakfast or lunch. And if you have special dietary needs, they'll definitely be able to handle that. So if you are a vegan or a vegetarian, or you have religious requirements, you speak with the chef, and you would be speaking with the chef, not like on a larger ship where you'd be speaking to several people in between the chef, and they would make whatever you wanted. It's a more personalized service. Okay, so I want you to envision, because I can't show you, I want you to envision what it's the difference. Also on a river cruise, the traveler that goes on a river cruise is someone who doesn't need a lot of stuff. And by stuff, I mean they don't need a Broadway show in the evening. They don't need a casino. They don't need 17 bars. They want to experience the culture and the traditions of whatever country they are visiting. So on a river cruise, yes, there'll be evening entertainment. You might have a local band from the area come in and play. You might have a guest speaker talk about the tour that's coming up the next day to get you all excited about it. I know on a similar cruise that I went on to the Galapagos Islands, they always had someone for the next day's experience where you looked and saw all the different things you were going to see the next day. You could ask questions. So I was prepared for the blue-footed booby, which is very important in the Galapagos Island. And I thought I was only going to see one, so I was zooming in for my first picture, and then they were all over the place. So he didn't tell me that. But there will be talks. There's also on a river cruise, you might have candy decorating or cookie decorating if you went on a Christmas cruise. Or if you went to Oktoberfest, you'd have something on different beers or traditional customs and things that are germane to the cities that you are visiting. They really want you to be immersed in the culture, because river cruises go where ocean cruises can't. When you're on an ocean cruise, you pull up to a dock that may be hours away from what you want to see. A river cruise is going to pull you right down in the middle and the heart of whatever it is you want to do. You'll walk maybe, I don't know, a couple of blocks, and you'll be in the middle of the city. Whereas if you're on a cruise ship, you have to take a shuttle to wherever it is you want to go, do it real quick, and come back. The other thing with a river cruise, you have longer in port destinations. Because on a river cruise, they provide at least one excursion within your base price cost. So a lot of them will be history talks, or there'll be someone guiding you to different museums, or there'll be talks on architecture, or there'll be talks on the local customs that are within that particular community. But it's usually a walking tour, so you have to have some mobility, especially if you're going to Europe. There's nothing but cobblestones there. I mean, you can do it with a walker, but it's got to be a walker that you can really maneuver. The scooters are, that's not the thing there. It's not the thing. But because there's a lot of small little stairwells that you go up in some of the churches or the museums or the different places that you might visit. I'm trying to look at my slides in my head, which were very beautiful, by the way. I talked about the cabins. I talked about the entertainment. So the client that wants to go on a river cruise, as I mentioned, wants to explore and immerse themselves in whatever they're doing. So there'll be, and the other thing with a river cruise, since there are so few people compared to an ocean liner, you're going to get to know your fellow passengers. So if you don't have a roommate, and they have some solo cabins, you won't make friends. It's really easy to make friends when you have a dining room that is not going on for miles. So on a river cruise, there usually is assigned seating, but it doesn't have to be. If you meet someone else that you want to dine with the next day, you just say, I want to dine with the lovely couple over there. I don't want to dine with her anymore. I want to dine with the lovely couple over there. I'll dine with you next week though. But it is, and they do, oh yeah, I forgot. Also, they have guest chefs that come in and will do a particular native to the area dishes for you. So those are things that you don't traditionally get on a cruise line. I did mention a little bit about the excursions. When you go on, let me see. So I forgot to ask my audience, how many people have been on a regular ocean line, cruise line? Okay, so we got half.
Yeah.
Well, if you've been on an ocean line, cruise line, how much did you pay for some additional excursions?
A lot.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a lot.
For additional excursions?
Yeah.
Sometimes like $94 for this.
And $94 for that, and
this or
$200
that.
for this
and
one.
maybe $200, right?
And right. Well,
But I always, my roommate and I were like, okay, we're not going over 100. So we chose something in that category.
Yeah.
right. But if you do that, if you're on a 7-day cruise, you do that for each of the days, that's still $600.
That's right. That's right.
That's still $600. I mean, and $600 is not bad for the lovely experiences that you have on those cruise lines. But the $600 that you would pay on a river cruise is already included. So you have at least one excursion a day.
But one
Yeah.
a day.
One a
Just
day.
one, yeah.
One a day is already included. Now, of course, they have other ones you can add on. I mean, everybody has markups, but their markups are not $200 and $300. Their markup is maybe $50 to $100. So it's not as if if you want to do what they have offered, you can. You can also go out on your own. They also include bicycles for those of us who are physically fit. No, it's not me. But if you're physically fit, they have hiking tours. On the ship, sometimes they have wellness programs where they will do healthy eating discussions. They have yoga, they have meditation, all sorts of things that you would find in a boutique style environment. And that's what I want you to think of a river cruise as. Something a little higher scale, a little bit more intimate, and fun. Because you're still going to have a good time. You're on vacation. Where are some of the places you might want to visit?
I have no idea. I've been going on a lot of bus tours this past year.
Okay.
Different places, but I've been in Europe a few times, so I'm not interested in that. I don't know. Something in the States.
Okay, something in the States. What about you? You said you didn't want to go
Yeah.
across the pond anymore.
Well, I'm not inclined to travel to too many distant time zones.
Okay.
I just thought, perhaps East Coast or Canada, that kind of thing.
Okay. And what about you?
I think I wanted to go out of the country
Okay.
Okay.
to some of those that I see on TV
Mm-hmm.
and it's commercial,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't even name all the different ones, but I would like those kind, maybe places I kind of like are like Amsterdam and
Mhm.
Holland and
Yeah, and the ones I did, which were not, were mostly France, were wonderful. So yeah, you'd have a great time.
yeah. So,
Well, I want to talk about tulip time in a few minutes because we're going to Amsterdam.
Oh,
I'm going to Amsterdam. You can
Oh,
come with me.
yeah.
Okay, Amsterdam, and I'll talk about Amsterdam in a second. Where are you thinking about possibly going?
Amsterdam or Germany or to
France,
Rhine,
Belgium,
any of
Yeah.
those.
yeah.
All of that was on my presentation.
Spain, yeah.
We've been looking a lot in, this is my husband, and we've been looking a lot on the Viking river cruises,
Right.
you know, in Europe and all, and different, you know, wherever.
Mhm.
Because we've been looking at this for a while. And a lot of a little bit of the concern that I had was that some of these places where you actually start the cruise or wherever you have to go, I don't know how many air flights that you have to take to get to some of these locations. And,
Yeah.
you know, I was a little concerned about, you know, about that, as far as like if you have to just fly to one place and then maybe you have to get 2 other flights someplace else before you get the cruise. I don't know, and it depends, I guess, on the location and what,
Absolutely, it does
it does
depend
depend on all that.
the
So,
location of where you want to start from. For example, Amsterdam, that's a straight flight from New York.
Okay,
Okay, or sometimes also from Newark.
mhm,
So it just depends, but that can be a straight flight.
mhm,
But you have to get there, and then you have to figure out. Well, not you don't, but your travel advisor should have to figure out for you what is your best course in terms of getting there. Whether you want to take the train, which I have done, but that's a lot of schlepping. You know, early in the day to get there on time, or go the night before and stay in an airport hotel and just go that way. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, well, my experience might be helpful because I was unsure about it myself. I took a direct flight from Philadelphia to Marseille. The tour group met us there. We were there quite a while at the airport while other people came in. And then they got us by bus, which took a while, to the tour, to the boat. I guess they call them
Okay.
boats and not ships on the river. And that was great.
okay.
So that's the kind of a question you should ask your travel agent. Does somebody meet me at the airport? Do I need to get to the hotel by myself?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Those are the questions that you need to ask. The one thing, one of the experiences I had was not as satisfactory as the others, and that was a guide who took a busload of us, maybe 12 of us, back to the airport. There was construction in the airport, and they just dumped us in the parking lot.
Oh, my.
So if you and to get for this broken asphalt, you know, from where we were into the gates, that was a chore. So that's the kind of question, if I were to do it again, I would ask my travel agent, are they going to get me to my gate, or are they just going to drop me off at the front door?
Sure.
So again, just a
I
thought.
know, all these things.
Well,
You have to
Yeah.
look
I
at
can
But
tell
they
you.
will help if you find the right place. They will do those things for
for
you.
you.
They will definitely, all right, yes. You could have that occurrence where they drop you off at the gate, or they could drop you off, they could have someone walk you in and then help navigate you to where you're going. It depends on the tour operator. It depends on the level of assistance you might need as a traveler. Some travelers who might have some disabilities or challenges hearing or seeing, or even some people who can move but not move as fast, you have to have different things for those individuals. So she is absolutely right. Your travel agent, that's part of the consultation. Your travel agent will find out, well, are you savvy? Can you do this? Can you do that? What kind of assistance? What is it that you need? Do you need more of an escorted to the particular gate?
Right.
In answer to your other question, it does depend on where you're going to start your cruise, or your river cruise, and whether you want to go a couple of days before to experience your place of origin.
Right.
Okay, and that is what I suggest. I'm going, for example, I'm doing another ocean cruise to Australia. So in April, we are. Good morning. come right on in. Just sign in and have a seat. We are leaving 3 days early so we can be in Australia for a couple of days, get our lay of our land, get over that long flight. And that's the other thing. If you're going somewhere that is far, like Germany and Amsterdam are not as far as going all the way,
Australia.
going all the way to Australia. So, you have to take all of those things into consideration. A lot of people who do longer flights will go. Amsterdam is a huge hub, so you can stay. There's also an airport train that takes you right into the heart of Amsterdam. So that would not be a problem if you chose to do something in Amsterdam. If you go on a tour, as she was mentioning, some of them are escorted, or some you just sign up to go. So the tour that I'm going to be doing to the Netherlands, starting in Amsterdam for Tulip Time in 25, I'll be on that tour. So I would make sure that you got where you needed to go. But when I send clients other places, for example, I sent a whole group to Ireland. A choral group was singing. I had someone on the ground in Ireland who was taking care of all of their issues. So it definitely depends on the travel agent. I'm a mother hen. I was a first grade teacher. I'm not leaving anybody anywhere, okay? Or, if I sent 2, I want 2 to come back, okay? I don't care which 2. But 2 need to come back. And my kids used to what are you doing? You're going to leave us there? It's 2 people. They want me to come back with 35? I got to come back with 35. What else was I going to say? I talked about the wonder of the seas.
You're talking now mostly about ocean.
No, I was talking about whatever on that particular
You're not
topic.
talking about the river cruises.
On the river cruises.
That's different.
On the river cruises. Okay, let me ask the question. I'm sorry. What is your question?
I thought the whole time we were.
I'm talking.
Experiences where we like to go, right?
Right, and
But I
that
thought
was river cruising.
You mentioned something about an ocean.
You're doing
wanna-
a cruise yourself on an
I was
ocean
saying, no. My next one is Australia.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So, but you were just talking about them in general.
Actually, in
Yeah.
general, yes.
You'd find this on a river cruise.
Huh.
You'd find this on a river cruise, and the generality would apply to both
Apply
river
to
and
both.
ocean.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
And would a river cruise be one where someone would meet you there?
Yes. More than
Like
likely.
she's saying that she
But
was
it
met.
depends on the company. It depends
It
on the
depends
company.
on, and that's what I said with the consultation.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I will find out, or any good travel agent would find out what it is you wanted.
Yeah.
Did you want to be on your own? You got this. I got it. I've been studying this.
Yeah.
Like he's over there. He's listed all the different spots he wants to go see in Germany, so he's ready. She, on the other hand, look, I need a little bit more. Okay, I need a little guidance. More than just asking a concierge at the hotel.
Yeah.
So if that's what you need, that's what you're going to get. But if it is a tour that I have planned that I'm promoting, for example, Tulip Time, I will be there. So no, you won't have to ask any questions. I'll have handled it for you. When I sent other clients, or if this couple over here wants to go to Germany, not that they don't want to go to Germany, I'm just not, I gotta pace myself. I would find out what they needed, and I would make sure on the ground over in Germany, the particular cruise company I picked or tour operator would be there to support them how they need it. Okay? It's all about the consumer. If there's somebody who wants to do it all on their own, and they're only going to get annoyed with me. Do you need this? Do you need that? Do you need this? That's why I ask. But when you come with me, we'll be fine. Don't worry about it. We'll be fine.
I can remember taking the arrangements were made by the company. I flew from Philadelphia to Marseille, I think. Somebody met me there, 5 or 6 other people, and escorted us to a small plane where we had to fly someplace else.
Right.
Now, if I'd had to do that on my own, I don't think I could have done it. I'd have
Right.
gotten lost. But somebody met us there at the gate and took us step by step, didn't leave us, or they handed us off to different people until we got to the hotel.
Right,
Or
that's
the, or the
exactly,
boat, whichever
yeah.
you were
Right.
doing.
Right.
And that is very common when you do when somebody curates a experience for you. The individual will make sure that all of the
Every step.
different aspects of your itinerary are met for you. So if you want to make sure, I mean, some people don't mind waiting for the big bus to take them to the next, for example, if a group was coming in, the tour operator meets them, and there's a shared bus that's going to the hotel for the first night. If you want independent transfer or you want a private transfer, as the travel agent, I've already noted that, so the tour operator will say, Mr. and Mrs. Giles, you want to go on a private transfer, your transfer's over here.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get to the same location, but it's just what you want. So, it's really, that's why you have to have a dialogue. You have to say what it is you want. And,
I went on one
yes,
similar, but we had 2 flights, 2 legs. We had to go one place and then someone directed us to the second place. But that's where 50 people came together, and we all met at that particular hotel. And we had a tour guide there.
okay, but you had to get to that point.
Yeah, we had to get there, and we all got there from different places, so we weren't together. But we all knew where we were going, and we were assisted as we went.
Oh, they were. Yeah.
And that was Globus, I think that was.
Globus is another company that I represent. And any travel agent can represent Viking, AMA, all different kinds of cruises and tour operators. All I can say is you get what you pay for. Okay? Gate 1 is lovely. That is an entry point for many people. Their tagline is, you can see more of the world for less. I've gone on a Gate 1 tour. They held my hand the whole time. I was good with it. Okay, you want to hold my hand? I sat back that particular time. But, I mean, in a small company, Census of Africa, when I was in Tanzania, I had a small group. I had 10 people. They were still there the whole time, making sure that all of our flights. So it's what you want. I mean, I want you, when you select where to go, that you get exactly what you want. You're going to have the experience that you desire. I mean, there's nothing worse than spending $5,000 or $6,000 or even $100. And if you expected a $100 steak and you got something that came from my kitchen, because it's not going to be a $100 steak, it's not what you want. That's not what you paid for.
Right.
Let's see, what else did I say? Okay, I talked about this cost. Tenders. When you're on a large cruise ship, as I said, sometimes they can't get into even the dock, the port where you're going. So you have to be shuttled in small boats over to land. Then you're shuttled from land to the tour, and the tour takes you 2 hours to get to wherever this place is that you wanted to see, this museum you've been dying to see since you were 12. So you get there and you think, oh, the tour is 8 hours. I'll be able to stay in the museum and take notes and all that good stuff. But you forgot it was 2 hours to get there. It's 2 hours to get back. You're only in that museum a hot minute. Whereas if you were on a river cruise, you pull into town, you walk the 300 feet off of the boat. There's somebody there, usually a walking tour, especially if it's really right in the center, but there could be a small bus taking you into town, half an hour, maybe, some of those streets are a little tight, and then you begin your tour. So your 6-hour tour is really a 6-hour tour. Okay, there's time in there for lunch if you want. You could have set up going to a special tasting, I love wine tastings, or chocolate, depending on what country you're going to.
So would everybody be doing the same thing on the tour? They'll be going to the same place. Will they have any free expression?
There's always free time. You don't have to do any of these tours. Nothing is mandatory. Just like on a cruise ship, it's not mandatory. You can choose. If, as I mentioned, some of them have hiking tours. I'm not doing it.
Okay, so if you didn't choose a tour, you still could just go in
You
town and do
just
what you
walk.
wanted to do.
There will, just like anywhere else, there'll be somebody there to say, oh, Mrs. Jackson, I made up the name, Mrs. Jackson, you're not doing the tour today? These are some of the things that are available in this town. Can I help you get to that place?
They'll usually give you a map, was my experience, a small, one-page map. It shows you some highlights that you can walk around on your own. The thing is, if you don't know the language, that's
That's true.
yeah.
Well, yes, however, all of these towns are there for tourist dollars, okay? So you can get away with not being fluent in German, and if you have a cell phone, there are translators on the cell phone. So you can do it.
Yeah, you can.
You can do it. Or you can sit on the tour, okay? I mean, but especially, she was, the river cruise that you went on, how long ago was that?
Oh, it was before COVID, maybe 8-9 years.
In 8-9 years,
I'm sure it's changed. Yeah.
things have changed. I have been to many countries where I didn't know what anybody's talking about, and I got around.
Yeah.
Okay, unfortunately, Americans speak one language. Everybody else speaks 3 and 4 languages, and in most countries, I can tell you that the indigenous people or native to that country are much more welcoming than anyone in Philadelphia. Okay, I have walked up to people and said, I need to get here. Where is it? Oh, let me help you. I mean, even if they cannot speak my language, they will find somebody who can speak English. I was in a subway in Paris, and I was getting very lost. But some little kid came up, can I help you, ma'am? Mademoiselle, can I help you? I said, please do. Please help me. So, yeah, you can be cautious, but don't let that stop you. And you might like some of the tours. You might.
True.
Okay, and they're included, okay? And I also mentioned a different level tour, so there'll always be additional options, okay? That, and if you were spending under 100 on the ocean cruise, if these are 50, you could get 2 in, okay? So you'd still save. So the cost of a river cruise, since I'm talking about money, the cost of a river cruise is usually somewhat higher than an ocean cruise. Mm-hmm. But you're paying for the specialty service. You're paying not to be a number. You're not paying to be in cabin 12158. You're paying to be in cabin 12158, but they know your name is Mr. and Mrs. Giles. Mr. Giles, how are you this morning? How are you? Oh, that's right. You don't like sugar in your coffee. I bought the Splenda for you. It's over there. Okay? That's the kind of service you're going to get. You're also going to, the tour expert on the ship will find out, okay, we've been to a couple places. She didn't like this one. She didn't like that one. She didn't like that one. What would you like to do? Okay, this is not on our list, but what would you like to do? We're going to Budapest next week. what do you want to do? So I can find something for you so you're going to be happy. Because they're here to make the experience what you want it to be. Not something that is customized. This is what we're going to do. This is regimented. I mean, things are regimented, but they're not strict. Okay, there is certain times that things leave, and if you're not up by 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock or whatever time o'clock it is, you're going to get left. But that's with anything. And you can always opt to not go. I took a group to Iceland. Iceland, and the one lady, we had gone out looking for the Northern Lights time after time after time. It was our last day. And she was like, I'm so tired, I can't go. And I said, okay. Of course, you know, we saw the Northern Lights that day. So she was like kicking herself the whole time because she just couldn't do it one more day. And it was exhausting. I mean, getting up at 10 o'clock at night or, take a nap, get up so you could stand out for 2 or 3 hours looking at nothing. But we saw it. We finally saw it. And those are the kinds of things that you do if you leave Philadelphia, okay? Yes, you can see the Northern Lights in Canada. You can see them in New York. You can see them in Alaska. But you can really see them in Iceland, okay? And you can really experience Oktoberfest in Germany. Okay, and hopefully I'll be able to turn this thing back on because now it went off. And I do have a short thing that I'll be able to pick up on some of the places that I wanted to talk about. Tulip Time, I wanted to show that. I wanted to show Oktoberfest, and I wanted to show the Christmas markets. Those are things that people generally think about when they do talk about river cruising. But there's also river cruising in India. There's river cruising in Africa. There are anywhere there is a river, somebody's cruising on it. I did a talk earlier last year on American river cruising, which is really big for people. You said you wanted to do something in the U.S. There's a whole line going up and down the Mississippi, which is wonderful. And they have blues cruises. They also do a Christmas one, American Cruise Lines. But you have to compare each cruise line with what it is you want. You had mentioned Viking. Viking is an excellent cruise line, but Viking is the one that advertises most of the time. There are other cruise lines that don't advertise. Vantage is one that the young lady here mentioned. Oh, yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, Vantage is in bankruptcy.
Is it really?
Yes,
I haven't traveled on them in years,
I
but
know.
I like them very much. No wonder they're bankrupt. They were so good.
No. Well, at any rate, this happened last October, this past October. I was booked on a trip to go on a cruise there. I had traveled with them before, and they told me something was wrong with the ship. So then I rebooked, and then I heard that they're in bankruptcy, so I'm out $6,000, but they're going with Aurora now, and Aurora goes mainly up to the Antarctic and the cold places, and they would allow 50% for a river cruise for your credits, minus the air and all the other things, or they would allow 20% on river cruise. So therefore, I'm going to be out of my money. Sorry for the interruption, but I just want to let you know.
Oh, no,
Vantage is in bankruptcy, just started.
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
The point was that there are other cruise lines, river cruise lines, that people have not heard of. Like I had not heard of the one that she mentioned, that we now know it, that you've now mentioned, that is in bankruptcy.
There are
So-
cruises in China, there are cruises, like you said, India. You go to cruise, I've been to cruises in China.
And Cambodia and Thailand. There are many places that you can do river cruises to. It just depends. So when you're ready to do a river cruise, the one thing that you do need to do is, or any type of travel, is to have travel insurance. It is vital. And travel insurance is not just if you get sick. It can be if your significant other gets sick, somebody who's traveling with you get sick, or if you have to cancel because of work. There are different policies that you can get. Cancel for any reason, cancel because of work. It just depends on what the particular cruise you're going on and which particular travel insurance company you go to. Not all of them cover everything. Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me again. May I offer a recommendation? Never get your insurance from the cruise line company.
That's what I was going to
Case
say.
in point is that, am I interrupting?
No, I was going to say that same thing that you're saying now.
Case in point in my experience, from this cancellation bankruptcy that I have, I paid $649 to Vantage for my insurance. Allianz only refunded me, that was the only money I got back, $141. So from now on, as you go on with your conversation, buy your cruise, your insurance before you pay that last payment from an insurance company and not through the cruise company.
I was going to say, and thank you for co-signing on it, your travel insurance through the cruise company does not include everything. The travel insurance from the cruise company does not start from when you leave your door. If you get an independent agent to cover you, most of them from the time you leave till the time you return cover everything in between. So if something happens after your cruise on the way back, you're still covered. But you don't want to go anywhere, especially the Caribbean, okay? And that's not necessarily a river cruise, but you don't want to go anywhere without travel insurance. Because if you are in one of those smaller areas and you need hospitalization or you need something, they're going to make you pay for it out of pocket before they even do the services. And if you need to be helivaced out of there, that's going to be $20,000, $30,000. But all of those things are covered under travel insurance or travel protection is what they want to call it now, travel protection. But you also, if you do with an independent agent, there's usually higher, like the different line items. So you might get on the cruise it's just going to cover your cruise. So if your bags are lost, they might only cover you $200, maybe. But if you have an independent one, your lost baggage might be $500 or $600. So they have different line items for different things that they cover. Mm-hmm. So once again, you as the consumer have to ask, let me see all the things that they cover. Even if you're doing it with the cruise line, be it ocean or river, make sure you check all the things that are covered. And bankruptcy is a thing. It could happen with any company. So you want to deal with reputable people and people that have a backing of some kind. So if I booked a cruise on Viking for you, I deal with a wholesaler who, with Travel Planners International, is my host company. So you have all of these agents across the country who also work for Travel Planners International. So if something goes wrong with Viking, not only can I scream and yell at Viking, I can scream and yell at the business development manager on Viking. I can do the sales director. I then can pull in all the people from my host agency, where there's agents all over the country spending hundreds of thousands of dollars helping Viking get better, get their clients in there. So there's some power in numbers. Mm-hmm. But if you're dealing, and that's not to say that small companies don't do a wonderful job too, but you have to hand pick things. And that's where the travel agent comes in to mind. So if somebody wants to do a river cruise and to Germany, I would say, okay, I'll give you something from Viking, I'll give you something from Alma, I'll give you something from AMA, and I might even give you something from Windstar. So those are 4 different cruise lines. You'll get everything outlined about what you want to do. And then I'd call you back and say, okay, we're gonna have a conversation now. What are the ones you want to throw out of there? Now, you got 2 that you're looking at. Let's go in depth. Let's look at the itineraries. You said you wanted to do that whole World War II thing. You said you wanted to do it. Now, this cruise line you picked only stays there 4 hours. Is that going to give you what you wanted? No. Let's start with that. Let's get what you want first. I'm never, or any, if you're dealing with a travel advisor, they're not going to steer, they're there to listen to you, to consult, and to determine what is the best thing for you. But you got to talk. You got to say what you want. I want to go on a river cruise. Okay. Where? What's the destination? And the first conversation may be, okay, you want to go on a river cruise. I'll send you some typical itineraries on a river cruise. Oh, I didn't like any of the things you sent. Okay, now that we have a baseline, let's delve a little bit deeper into what you want. I sent something on Paris and Germany. I find out this person wants to go to Thailand. She never said Thailand, but in our conversation, I'm hearing, oh, I really like the Buddhist culture, and I really, want to be immersed in a cooking class. So in the back of my mind, I remember in one of these trainings I went to on this cruise line, they do a lot of cooking, and oh my goodness, they also go to Thailand. So when I call her back, I'm going to tell her, you might not have heard of this one. They don't have a lot of commercials, but let's give this one a try. Okay, I am so all over the place on this particular presentation. Please forgive me, folks who are there on Video Land, and hopefully I was able to answer some of the questions. I'm going to ask one more time. Did you have any specific questions?
I have one question. It's not really about a cruise thing, but
Okay.
do you know if or when Notre Dame Cathedral is going to be open again?
25.
Is it 25?
25.
It's next. When are they doing the Olympics?
The Olympics in Paris are from July, 19th, 12th to August 8th or so
Of this year.
of this year. And then after the regular Olympics, there are the Paralympics.
Right.
So
Okay.
you got to be careful with Paris during that time. Not that they will not sell you hotel rooms and entrance fees and things, but it's going to be packed.
Oh, it's packed. Yeah.
And there's going to be lots of detours. I'm doing a escorted trip. It's called Black Paris in the second week in September, and we're going to spend a week in Paris. So that's why I pushed it back, so that I'm giving Paris a little bit of time to reboot.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure things are still going to be messed up because it takes forever to put things back.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have detours, but the Olympics is a really big thing. I'm hoping, knocking on wood, that they also got that bed bug situation cleared up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, if we could clear it up in New York, they'll clear it up in Paris. Because if you remember, there was a big bed bug issue
was.
in New York several years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there are people diligently working over there right now,
Right.
getting it. Because those are too many dollars to.
Yeah. Really.
It's just.
Yeah.
Tourism is big, not only in small little Caribbean countries, all across the world.
Yeah.
Okay, all
Yeah.
across the world. Let me make sure I got everything. Oh, also wines and beers are included for lunch and dinner on most river cruises. There also aren't a lot of bars. There may be one main cocktail lounge where you could get spirits, more potent spirits that may or may not be included, but you can drink all the wine and beer you want at dinner. So, juggle up at dinner. I'll take some with my salad and some with my dessert. Yeah, get it all in there.
Can I ask them,
Yes.
do they have a spa?
Now, a river cruise is does not have a lot of the extras that a regular cruise line might. Or let me say not regular, ocean cruise line. They may have a small whirlpool kind of thing on deck. They may have somebody who is a masseuse, so it'll be in a very small room. It's something that was a cabin that they made into masseuse table. It's that kind of pampering, not the thermal spas and the plunge pools and all that kind of stuff that I love. But I also can deal with a good massage. They may have a very small weight room, a couple of machines, some free weights, that kind of thing.
But the smaller the ship, they're not gonna have that.
Yeah, the very small ships are not going to have that.
200 people or so, they're not gonna have that.
But a little bit more than 200 will have that. And the newer ships will have that.
What with Viking, what's their capacity like?
Viking's capacity can go up, I think, to 350.
Choose something.
All right, 2 something.
Depending on the ship, the larger ships take more now. They have more larger ships.
Right, and that's what, so the larger ships are building more rooms. They're also building in some more of the frills. But do not just be swayed by what you see on television. Contact someone and let them show you a variety of things. Okay, but I'm not saying that Viking, and Lord knows, I will sell you a Viking cruise. I will do that. But I can also sell you something else. But I want you to be able to compare. And if you don't know of the other cruises, and you don't know if they're still in business or whatever, you're not going to have, it's kind of like, I'm so angry with all of the millennials who have gotten all the stores out of business now, that you have to order everything on Amazon. I need to feel it. I need to see it. I need to know that if it goes wrong, I can take it back to that company. I have missed so many return dates mailing things back. So that's what I want you to do also when you're selecting your whatever adventure it is you're doing. I want you to compare all the things, apples to apples, of what you actually want. This is too much money for you to spend and not get the experience you want. If you wanted 1,000 walking tours and they only did one and all the rest of the stuff was on buses, which would be okay with me, you're not going to be happy. And if I ended up selling you something to Switzerland, you're not going to be happy because where you really wanted to go was Mississippi. So it depends on what you want, and you've got to be really, really clear. But I'm going to try to see if I can turn this back on. I don't know. It's been a long time. Let's see. Did it go back on? Oops, that didn't work. Okay, let's see. Let's see power on. Nope, that didn't go on either. Uh-oh. Something's heating up. All right, let's see. Oh, ain't got anything else. Okay. Come on. Let's see. Well, maybe in the interim, I can look and see. I did find what I wanted to show you. Okay. He wanted to see. Okay. Oh, now I have no internet. Why do I have no internet? I had internet before. Okay, personal Wi-Fi. Oh, I'm back. Okay, I'm working on getting my Wi-Fi. All right, I have my Wi-Fi. It says it failed to connect. Come on, people, please. Okay, we're connected. All right, let's see if we can get, oh, right, we are back, yay! Okay, let's see. I don't want just the pictures, I want the, okay, destinations. right, this is not making me a happy girl again. I am so sorry. And please forgive my back. This is not working the way I wanted it to do. Oh my goodness. Alright, I have to log this all in again. Let's see if I can, Egypt. Not that either. Of course, because I am trying to get this done. Alright. Where in Germany did you want to go, sir?
I just,
He just picked Germany, he doesn't know.
Okay, see, that requires more conversation.
Conversation.
Okay.
I was just thinking of the Rhine.
The Rhine, okay.
Okay.
We've been inundated with the river cruises. It seems like they all go through the Rhine. And they do a
Well,
lot.
as you can see here, they go to a whole lot of places.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
There's a lot of places they go. Okay.
I can't even say anything of what's up there anyway. Those words, I just, my vision isn't that great,
Oh,
but I can't really even
okay.
say it.
All right. Okay. I'm sorry. This is
No, it's all right. I mean, the light in the room, you know, the contrast is,
this whole thing is not working.
yeah, it's
anyway.
not really great.
Okay. All right. Well, since it's not working, we're gonna stop trying to do that.
Okay.
And I do hope you consider giving me a call for some of your future travel needs. It can be in-continent or another continent. It can be river cruise, anything you'd like. But my name is Lynn Thompson. Actually, it's now Lynn Thompson Giles. I did get married. But, and I'm at Lynn.
Do you have cords or anything?
If you signed in, you are now on my mailing list.
Oh, okay.
I did not bring cards because I have it on my presentation.
Oh, yeah, you had it on the presentation.
But I have a QR code and everything. It's, my phone number is 215-704. That's okay. Did you sign in, ma'am? Okay, well, I got you. 215-704-4077. And I do have a website. I have testimonies of, I haven't killed anybody yet. So,
So your name's Lynn?
Lynn, Lyn.
L-Y-N.
And your last name?
Thompson Giles.
Giles.
What is your email address, your website?
Lynn, Lyn,
Okay.
at 115travel, TRAVEL.com.
Okay.
And in terms of my newsletter, I send one out maybe once a month. I do not bombard you with garbage because everybody has enough garbage. But if you wrote down a specific destination or something that you were thinking about, or now that we talked, something you're thinking about, then I would call you specifically and ask, okay, now you said Germany, have we figured out maybe one or two cities in Germany you want to go?
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
You say you have a website.
Yes, I do.
Did you give that to us?
Lynn, Lyn, 115travel.com.
Thank you.
It's not at 115, it's just 115.
My website is lyn115travel.com. My email address is lyn@115travel.com. But just, you can call me, leave me a message. It may take me a little bit to get back to you, because I am a newlywed.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes, we got married in March, and
Oh, that's great.
we've been together for a long time, but we're gonna make it work.
There you
So,
go.
and I always do a senior talk, usually on the second Thursday of the month, and we have different talks scheduled. So anytime you see me, ask about if you haven't thought of, if you think something comes up, the next talk you come to, let me know. And also, what would you like me to talk about? Because someone asked for river cruising last time when I did ocean cruising. Of course, that person's not here, but maybe they're going to catch it on the video. Is there something you'd like me to talk about for future trips?
Something to
Talks.
think about.
Yes, ma'am.
How about single,
Singles.
solo travelers?
Solo travel. You can do a solo travel on a river cruise.
Yeah, I know. I've been traveling for about almost 20 years on my own pretty much, and now that I'm 85, I don't make my own arrangements, and I'm looking for something. That's why I've dealt with Vantage, because I dealt with his uncle for years, and I don't like cruise ships for more than 200 people.
Then a river cruise or a small yacht cruise is something that you want to do.
I've hit most of the bucket list places that I've had. I haven't been to Barcelona, particularly.
Oh my gosh, the food there is
I
wonderful.
have not been to Barcelona. And the other place that I wanted to go to, it's kind of difficult because of the war in the area that I want to travel in nowadays.
Okay.
So, two trips that I enjoyed were Thailand, and one particularly was the Douro River in Portugal to Salamanca, Spain.
Okay.
That was really nice.
Yes. Portugal is a really hot spot right now.
Right.
Many people want to go to Portugal.
So as costs of the trips are more expensive, double payment for single supplements, so a lot of the cruise ships are making provisions for them. I'm tired of being in the hole down below the cabin with a little window with there.
Yes, that is
So
usually,
therefore, they're making more adjustments for it, and that's what Vantage was doing, and I was gonna be up on a, higher level. But, these things happen. Could be worse, but c'est la vie.
absolutely, yeah. Is there something you would like me to talk about on the next Travel Talks with Lynn?
Anything's fine with me.
Okay.
I travel by myself a lot, but I do have things like this, but I use oxygen. So I can't do a lot of walking for long periods of time or stuff like that. So it's little things like that that I would have to consider.
And that would be something that when we talked,
Yeah,
I would consider something that had a lot of coach travel,
right.
where you could get to the location, and so there also wasn't a lot of walking within the location.
Right.
Like maybe you would only do half of a Vatican tour, because the Vatican is huge.
Right.
And the Louvre, go see the top 5 things and call it a
Call it
day.
a day.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
That's too much people, too much, yeah.
the Louvre is a really nice
Yeah.
museum, but when you see the fact that the Mona Lisa is about this
Exactly.
big, it's.
You're like,
I was more impressed with the tapestries myself.
right.
They were beautiful,
Yeah.
But and then the Egyptian. I found my way down the stairs to the Egyptian stuff, and I like that.
Beautiful.
What about you? What would you might let me to talk about?
I pretty much already said I want to go. Out of the
We're gonna
country.
get you to Holland. For
Yeah,
2
the
weeks.
Highlands.
Yep.
And
Okay.
actually, when she spoke of Barcelona and Portugal, I'm all for any of
Yeah.
those places.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like that as
Okay.
well. I think I'm really focusing, I think, Spain and Portugal, although I love France and Italy, I've done a lot. But one of my favorite places in France is Versailles, which I love it there. I would
Well,
like to go back.
and mine is Monet's Gardens in Giverny.
Yeah,
Yeah, Lyon,
Yeah. Oh,
Avignon.
beautiful.
that it's absolutely breathtaking.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot of things.
we're gonna have to make a compromise over here.
We are.
Okay, we're gonna have to. Maybe we'll have to do 2 trips.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, thank you much. It is time because my lovely assistant, or I'm her assistant.
You can stay and chit chat.
No, she's got to turn off the thing. So thank you very much,
Yes.
and hope to see you next time. Bye bye.